So my name is David Mooney from Dublin in Ireland, and I live in the hills of Wicklow by the sea. Very much love where I live. And I am a movement medicine teacher, and I discovered this practice 10, 12 years ago. And it was a revelation for me to find this kind of practice. Never had considered myself a dancer. That's not what I had traditionally done. I studied business, and then when I finished my degree, I found that, well, all the way during the degree and afterwards, I found that I wanted something a little bit different, a bit more. I was always on the search for something that would open particular connections within me. When I was 21, I was going through a pretty difficult time. I had found that from growing up in a home where there was challenges, there were parts of me that I had sent outside of myself. There were parts of myself that I didn't feel safe to bring into the world. So I needed some kind of practice that would bring me back in connection with myself. So I found myself on a dance floor of 5 rhythms I think it was about 12 years ago. And it was something completely new and different to me. I hadn't done many body-based practices before. I'd done quite a lot of psychotherapy. And what I found was that the combination between coming into connection with my heart, coming into connection with myself, and all that involved, but in the body, was a huge awakening for me. Awakening in the sense that I had somewhere to bring all my emotions. I had somewhere to bring all the things that were going on for me. That wasn't just in my head, that I could bring it and process it through the whole of the physical body. And I soon began to realize that this was a place that I could land connection with myself. I could come home to myself. And I was always looking for something or somewhere to call home. And I was actually in the physical body, in these bones and these muscles. Over the next 4 years, I did quite a bit of dancing. And gradually I found that I was coming alive in a way that I hadn't been before. Well, I hadn't been since I was very young. And I found a huge sense of freedom from the practice. I tried an awful lot of different practices, but there was a freedom that I found in the dance practice that I hadn't found before. So I began working with Susanna and Yakov, who are founders of movement medicine, 10 years ago. And there was something new that in movement medicine that I hadn't found before. And it was this combination between psychosynthesis and psychotherapy, shamanic work with earth-based modalities, working with the elements, working with nature, which I absolutely love, and devotional practice, devotional pathway. So a place to bring my spirit self, my prayerful self. Because I grew up in Ireland, where there was a monoculture in terms of where you could bring your prayer self, where you could bring prayers and devotional practice. And there was a huge amount of possibility I found in working in a practice where the maps included places where you could pray, but in a non-denominational way, in a way that you could filter it and digest it through your own heart and through your own body and through your own dance. And that was also very freeing for me, because I had a very strong connection with being in nature and being deeply absorbed in nature when I was very young, and somehow I lost that along the way. And to come back to connection with myself and connection with prayer and connection with being absorbed in the wonder of nature was really beautiful for me. To find that was really, really important for me in terms of that. It's been a process over the years of coming home to myself and coming home to who I am and coming home to my own heart and coming home to what really matters to me in the world. And from this place, from finding connection with myself, to be able to access connection with the world through it's been a really, really beautiful way to relearn how to be in connection with the world, relearn how to be in connection with other people, and relearn how to be in connection with groups of people. Because often when I was in connection with other people, part of me would come outside myself to meet the other person. And one of the fundamental things that this practice has taught me is how to be really in connection with myself when I meet someone else, in connection with my own heart, in connection with my own body, and in my own being, and still have connection with other people, and still have connection with community and groups of people. So that's been, it's a very, in some ways, the movement practice is fundamentally very simple. It's you bring your consciousness into movement, and that activates connection within, and activates what you're connected to. And then the maps of movement medicine are very subtle, and they're quite, in some ways, they're quite complex, because they try to map out those layers of connection within, and those layers of connection with life. And I've often been in a place in movement medicine where the fundamental ground of the practice is learning how to receive myself exactly as I am in any given situation. And sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes there are places where I don't accept myself, and the feelings and emotions and thoughts that come up are very uncomfortable. And what the movement medicine practice and this dance practice give me is a sense of ground, of coming back to where I can use the very simple practices to remember that I'm okay, that this is okay, and that you're okay. And that fundamentally there's a ground of safety, and there's a ground of the receiving of, the bigness of the living earth that receives me. Yeah. No matter what condition and no matter what state I am, I just have to learn to come back into resonance with that receiving and that accepting, and to embody that sense of receiving myself as I am. And from that ground, then I can stand up and open my heart and really connect in with what I want to offer in this world, what I want to give. That's what I'm learning. That's what makes me happy.